This is CTV News with Nafisa Karim.
We're growing, the number of calls increase, which means we need more officers on the ground.
Municipal leaders meet in Victoria to tackle crime and disorder and to take on the province. We'll also have this story.
That effectively shuts down liquor and cannabis distribution across the province.
The BCGEU ramps up its job action against the province, taking aim at booze and bud. Plus, Adam finds out why some say watching big bubbles being made is like magic. Later on the Sawatsky sign-off. Good evening and thank you for joining us. Municipal leaders from across BC have come to Victoria for the annual Union of BC Municipalities Conference. It's a chance for municipal leaders to get together and discuss some of the most pressing issues in their communities. CTV's Brendan Strange shows us crime, disorder, and community safety have already become leading topics, and many are looking to the province for solutions.
Municipal leaders from across the province have descended on Victoria for the annual meeting of the Union of BC Municipalities.
This forum this week is important of us coming together, sharing of ideas, getting some support here.
It's a conference that will build a collective voice, taking a number of concerns to higher government. An emerging topic, community safety and unaddressed crime and disorder in downtown cores across the province, including the municipality of Souk.
We're growing, the number of calls increase, which means we need more officers on the ground.
Roughly 25% of Souk's budget pays for policing, and Souk's mayor says there are many factors that are leading to that increase in crime, including unaddressed mental health issues and the ongoing drug crisis, all files that fall in the province's lap.
75% of British Columbians don't feel safe in their own community for their families.
Jess Ketchum is the co-founder of the Save Our Streets Coalition, an organization that was formed a little over a year ago when a number of community associations and business owners began voicing their concerns about increased crime in communities across BC.
These issues are fixable. We know that there are solutions to each aspect of these issues. It's just a matter of having the political will to actually get it done.
On Wednesday, SOS will hold a rally on the steps of the BC legislature, with many mayors voicing their concerns.
Municipalities are being forced to fill gaps that traditionally were filled by provincial government programs and funding.
Victoria's mayor will be one of those speakers. BC's capital city has recently embarked on its community safety and well-being plan. Phase 1 will see more than $10 million diverted from other priorities in order to pay for various programs and projects to deal with downtown crime.
We very much hope that that gap filling is temporary, because we do believe that these matters are much better, much more appropriate, and frankly done in the longer term more efficiently by provincial governments whose responsibilities clearly fall in social services, health care, and crime prevention and response.
On Friday, BC's Premier will address the UBCM on the conference's final day. That's where community leaders will be looking for some hard commitments from the province to address crime, disorder, and many of the factors that are leading to its increase throughout BC. Brendan Strain, CTV News, Victoria.
3 weeks into job action, the BC General Employees Union is putting liquor and cannabis warehouses behind picket lines.
This morning, our BCGEU members across 4 liquor and cannabis distribution warehouses across the province of British Columbia walked off the job. That effectively shuts down liquor and cannabis distribution across the province.
He says 2,000 workers at warehouses in Burnaby, Delta, Richmond, and Kamloops walked off the job this morning. They join more than 10,000 workers taking job action at 36 locations, including 28 active picket lines. The union is demanding wage increases that match inflation and say escalation will continue until the government returns to the bargaining table. Western Forest Products, which operates on Vancouver Island, says it is once again curtailing lumber production. The company says the cutbacks are in response to weak market conditions, further impacted by significant increases in the U.S. softwood lumber duties. The company says it plans to reduce lumber production across all of its BC sawmills by 50 million board feet for the rest of 2025. That's about a 6% reduction. Western Forest says the Chemainus sawmill, already under curtailment, will remain so for the entire fourth quarter of 2025. Western Forest Products is one of the largest private sector employers on Vancouver Island, supporting approximately 3,300 jobs in nearly 20 communities. The province's campaign to attract doctors and nurses to BC from the U.S. seems to be paying off, with 140 qualified health professionals accepting job offers. The health minister says since May, the number of job applications received from U.S. healthcare workers has doubled to more than 1,400. 140 of them are heading to BC to work, and the province says more are on the way. The province launched a recruitment campaign targeting healthcare workers in Washington, Oregon, and select cities in California in June and July, and ads will appear in academic publications in the U.S. through the end of September. The Snuneymuxw First Nation and the Nanaimo Airport will now be working together to strengthen economic development while advancing reconciliation. This morning, inside the First Nations Council chambers, Chief Mike Wise and the Nanaimo Airport Commission signed a memorandum of understanding. The agreement includes recognition of the nation's rights and role in regional development, economic benefits, and community investment opportunities. It also takes into account long-term growth and collaboration over development plans.
To build on a partnership and a relationship with our neighbors and local industry is a big step for our community to get the recognition and the acknowledgement.
Working with First Nations and specifically with Snuneymuxw is key to moving any business forward, where, especially when it's in a federal jurisdiction, and we are one of those.
Since 2020, the First Nation has signed more than 14 agreements. Cowichan Tribes members are casting ballots to potentially adopt a new education law that will empower their nation to teach students in alignment with their culture. The vote comes after Cowichan Tribes made an agreement with Canada that returned authority over education to the nation. The agreement enables Cowichan Tribes to develop its own curriculum, certify teachers, and implement various policies under its new education law.
The school district may not be compatible to how our cultural way of living is. What we're used to growing up in traditionally may be a little bit different. So putting our own thoughts into the law and living by it culturally means a lot to our people.
There are between 100 and 200 students learning under Cowichan Tribes jurisdiction right now, and the nation says it would be happy to welcome non-members into its schools. The vote on the education law runs from today through October 9th. People in the Comox Valley might notice a lot more air traffic in the sky during this week. It's due to a multinational search and rescue exercise. 19 Wing Comox is hosting the Canadian Search and Rescue Exercise, or SAREX, from today until Friday. People can expect an increase in air traffic and noise on the Mid-Island and Sunshine Coast. Aircraft will be seen flying at low altitudes above mountain ranges, performing search patterns, parachuting StarTechs and cargo drops. On Friday, Air Force Beach will be closed to the public to perform the final scenario. The exercise involves StarTech crews across Canada and the United States, and they're testing and sharing best practices. It's been decades in the making, and this weekend, the track and field track in Oceanside raced into the 21st century. A ceremonial track relay took place on Saturday at the newly installed track behind Balena's Secondary. Local Olympians Michael Mason and Michelle Stilwell took part. The brand new all-weather track is being called the Track of Dreams. It comes with drainage and is wheelchair accessible. Funding for the $1.7 million price tag came from all levels of government, private donors, local businesses, along with foundation and community fundraisers.
This track has been in the making for, well, it first went on the agenda 27 years ago, and through politics and challenges and COVID, we kept pushing as a community and all the local councils, school districts, RDN, and we managed to get this across the line.
The track is available for public use outside school hours and scheduled events. More information can be found Oceanside Community Track Association's website. It's day 3 of Tour de Rock, and the cyclists are making their way from Port McNeill to Sayward. It's one of those grueling days of the annual ride for childhood cancer research and support services, with riders covering nearly 140 kilometers of road. So far, they've raised more than $300,000 of their $1 million fundraising goal. It is 18 degrees, a little bit overcast. Josh will be back after the break with the full forecast.
CTV weather brought to you by Expedia Cruises. Make the most of your next trip by booking with those who've been there. Visit expediacruises.ca.
Hey, West Shore Youth, looking for a fun spot to hang out? Youth nights are here. Skating, art, swims, and a place to chill. Staff-led and supervised for a safe, inclusive vibe. Check out wspr.ca for more info.
Well, Josh, we made it to the first day of fall. What a gorgeous one it was today.
Yeah, welcome to autumn. Today, the autumnal equinox. You're not going to notice a dramatic change with the new season, though. We've got some rain continuing here across the north. That'll stick around tonight. Another wave kind of goes through the first half of the day, and then looks like it'll dry up a little bit tomorrow afternoon. None of that pushes through the Nanaimo, Victoria areas, where we'll stay under mainly sunny skies through Tuesday and Wednesday, and temperatures close to or slightly above average. In the north, showers tonight and tomorrow morning, then cloudy with a few sunny breaks and 14 degrees tomorrow afternoon, 16 Wednesday, and then it gets wet. Good chance of rain, possibly heavy, steady rain to close the work week and head into the weekend. Temperatures will drop well below average in the 13-14 range for Thursday, Friday, Saturday. Average is 17. 24s for inland areas the next 2 days. Partly cloudy skies Tuesday. Sunshine in the forecast for Wednesday. Still in the low 20s Thursday, and then rain for Friday and Saturday, and that'll knock temperatures back into the mid-teens out on the west coast. Close to 20 for tomorrow and Wednesday. Some clearing tomorrow. Sunshine on Wednesday, and then increasing cloud through the day. Thursday, you're looking at rain as well, maybe as early as Thursday night, certainly through Friday, Saturday. Looks fairly wet with temperatures a couple of degrees below average. Highs of 20 for Tuesday and Wednesday in Comox. Partly cloudy skies on Tuesday, mainly sunny Wednesday. That's a finger slip on my behalf. Ignore that. It's not going to rain Wednesday morning. It'll probably rain Friday, Saturday, though. 70% chance on Friday, 60% chance on Saturday. And again, that could be some steadier periods of rain with temperatures back into the mid to high teens for Friday and the weekend. Mainly sunny in Nanaimo for Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. 23 tomorrow, 21 on Wednesday, and 20 on Thursday. That's well above average, and then back closer to average with the rain for Friday, Saturday. In Victoria, mainly sunny skies tomorrow, 10 degrees in the morning, up to 21 with light wind tomorrow afternoon, 20 or 21 again Wednesday, and then 17, 18-ish, so right around average for Thursday, Friday, Saturday, with the chance of some showers late in the day Friday, carrying through potentially into Saturday. CTV Weather is brought to you by Expedia Cruises for air, land, and sea vacations.
Thanks, Josh. It appears today could be the day that 400 ostriches in Edgewood, BC meet their fate. It comes after multiple legal attempts to save them and even some high-profile support from south of the border. CTV's Abigail Beeman reports.
The farm spokesperson in BC's interior said by early this morning there was a convoy of about 70 vehicles, including police and others, and by late morning BC time, they were waiting to go through search warrants with their lawyer.
Today is life versus death. Today, we need to choose life.
Universal Ostrich Farm says the dozens of vehicles on site include the RCMP and the Canadian Food Inspection Agency, and there's a command post set up in Edgewood, BC. Hundreds of people have been watching this YouTube live feed of the birds as the day unfolds. The RCMP would only tell CTV News the CFIA is the lead agency. Police are there to keep the peace and enforce the law, while the CFIA did not respond at all by deadline. The farm was anticipating the inspection agency would carry out the cull of about 400 ostriches by early this week and put out a call for supporters for help. And during this lengthy saga, the farm has had no shortage of big-name supporters, including the U.S. Secretary for Health, Robert F. Kennedy Jr., who wrote to the CFIA in May hoping to save the ostriches, saying there would be significant value in studying their immune response to avian flu. This all began last December when the CFIA ordered the ostriches to be destroyed following an outbreak of avian flu. The farm spokesperson says it's been more than 200 days with no testing, and the animals have been healthy that whole time. The farm lost its bid to stop the cull in federal court and is in the middle of asking the Supreme Court to hear its case, which would include an emergency stay of the cull. Abigail Beeman, CTV News, Ottawa.
World leaders are in New York City this week at the United Nations for the 80th General Assembly. Front and center is the question of Palestinian statehood. More than 150 countries, including most recently Canada, have officially recognized Palestine. It's a decision that now puts several G7 countries in conflict with both Israel and the United States. CTV's Judy Trin reports.
As we meet, civilians are targeted and international law trampled in Gaza, the Ukraine, Sudan, and beyond.
As the 80th session of the United Nations General Assembly opens, growing support for Palestinian statehood dominates the agenda. 3 G7 nations, Britain, France, and Canada, are recognizing the state of Palestine to apply political pressure to end the war in Gaza.
We have to push on this now because, as I say, the possibility, in absolute violation of the UN Charter and in absolute violation of international law, of self-determination for the Palestinian peoples is being erased.
Carney says Hamas would not have a role in governance. Instead, Canada, in a coordinated effort with like-minded countries, will work with the Palestinian Authority in the West Bank toward a two-state solution in a plan for peace that could also call for troops.
There are many proposals, as I suspect you're aware, from variety of Arab states, combination of Arab states and European states, to which Canada would be party.
It has been nearly 2 years since the October 7th attacks, but Israel's prime minister has vowed not to stop the war until Hamas is eradicated.
The starvation and devastation are utterly intolerable.
It is not diplomacy. When Hamas is praising this conference and calling it the fruit of October 7th, we know it's a problem.
4 of the 5 permanent members of the UN Security Council, Britain, France, Russia, and China, recognize Palestine, except for the United States.
He feels this does not do anything to release the hostages, which is the primary goal right now in Gaza, does nothing to end this conflict and bring this war to a close. And frankly, he believes it's a reward to Hamas.
U.S. President Donald Trump will make his stance clear when he speaks in front of the UN General Assembly on Tuesday. Right now, 150 nations recognize the state of Palestine, but the one country that has the most influence on Israel, the United States, does not. Judy Trin, CTV News, New York.
Late-night TV host Jimmy Kimmel will be back on the air tomorrow. It comes nearly a week after his controversial suspension by television network ABC and its parent company, Disney. The company is saying it is a decision we made because we felt some of the comments were ill-timed and thus insensitive. We have spent the last days having thoughtful conversations with Jimmy. The show was pulled over comments Kimmel made after the shooting death of conservative commentator Charlie Kirk. But his suspension led to outrage and sparked concerns about free speech in the U.S.
We've got some.
Coming up, making magic. Adam finds out why this man is filling Victoria's Dallas Road with all sorts of big bubbles. Next on the Sawatsky Sign-Off. Meets a man in Victoria with a pair of fishing rods, some string, and special soap that some say is magic on the Sawatsky Sign-Off.
While most people simply see bubbles, Dasha has paused her daily walk to appreciate them as something more magical.
It's a fairy tale.
A fairy tale filled with soapy sprites that have the power to make this almost 90-year-old feel like she's younger than 9 again.
It's fantastic. It's really bringing me back to my childhood.
If the bubbles are magic, then Caleb Essex must be a magician. But he says he's not.
It's nice when it's sunny and you can get out and enjoy the weather.
Well, perhaps you'll think Caleb is a chef after he reveals his bubble recipe that begins with soap and water.
And the secret ingredient is guar gum, which is a food additive thickener for sauces and things like that.
But Caleb's no cook, and guar gum is not responsible for the bubbles unsticking the negativity David says he sees on the news and replacing it with positivity.
I'm not thinking about anything when I'm watching bubbles. I'm just appreciating the color and the shape.
And falling under the spell of this kaleidoscope of color must be magic. But Caleb cites science.
And so the light will enter the side of the bubble and bounce between the layers, and then depending on how thick the bubble is, it will give different colors.
But Caleb is not a scientist, and although his audience seems entranced, he's not a busker.
Just come to spread the bubbles.
This is just a hobby that Caleb and his sister had so much fun doing together, they decided to share it with others.
And it makes a lot of people happy and brings a smile to their face, so why not?
Because you don't need to wield a wand or recite a spell to make other people's days feel, if just for a moment, like magic. Adam Sawatsky, CTV News, Victoria.
Good to know the secret ingredient. I've been using glycerin this whole time. That is it for CTV News Vancouver Island. Thank you so much for joining us. Good night.